we're not going to talk much, but we're going to let the instructor do his work and sort of help us learn important skill that we should know. Again, thank you for coming this evening. I'm Nazira. I host the monthly Just Chats every month. And just that you know that August is going to be our 2-year anniversary. So we have never missed 1 month. Every month discussing important topics. Our aim is to improve humanitarian efforts in bringing cultures and people together for various good causes. And last month we talked about men and heart health, and many showed an interest in learning CPR. So that's why, to keep the momentum, Chief agreed to do this along with his team today. And so 2 things I'm going to quickly talk about, because it's on the agenda, about the walking club initiative. We have the flyers there. If you are interested in starting a walking club within your subdivision, right, please reach out to me, because we've done that before. We've shown huge success, huge networking happens in those walks. If you are going to be the coordinator, we have all the materials that you need, how to reach out to your HOA, what is the email you need, we'll go with you. So reach out. We already have gathered a few people who are already starting it. So if you're interested in starting it, reach out to me. You have my email there, and we're going to do that. But the next thing is, Chris, Chief Coombs is newly appointed for his fire chief of Johns Creek. So we welcome you. Please go ahead. You have a few minutes to talk to the crowd today.
Sure. Thanks for coming. We're excited. We love being involved in these types of events. Lieutenant Mashmeyer, he works at fire headquarters with us, and he's our emergency medical services coordinator. So this is right in his wheelhouse. He goes out and does community CPR and trains the community on CPR, as well as other members of our fire department. You guys may or may not know this, but we're coming up on our 11th year with having a Johns Creek Fire Department. I came from the City of Atlanta Fire Department, where I started when I was 20 years old. Sean came from Gwinnett, and then before that he worked in Missouri. We were part of the first bunch of guys and gals that were hired here for the Johns Creek Fire Department. We have 3 fire stations right now. And those of you that may know a little bit about the community, we're building a 4th fire station over off of Jones and Kimball Ridge Road. We're in the design phase of that now. And for those of you that may or may not know, the fire department, most everybody on the fire department are also trained EMTs or paramedics. So we run the majority of the incidents we respond to are medical in nature, whether it be a heart attack, a diabetic issue, somebody injured, a car wreck, whatever the case may be. Basically, if you call 911, you're going to get a fire truck. We come and do everything. We don't come to hang pictures, but if you ask real nice, we might. I'm just kidding. But we basically, the city's toolbox, we try to handle anything outside of a law enforcement type issue. We are not police officers. We're the nice guys. But, that's not true. They're great too. We just give each other a hard time. And every firefighter takes this job generally as a young person, and we all want to help people. We want to save lives. We want to save property. So that's very important to us. So all of y'all taking the initiative to come out and learn CPR helps us with our success. It will help save lives. If we have bystander CPR underway prior to our arrival, that significantly increases the person's likelihood of surviving that event. So this is a huge step in the right direction for saving lives, and I can't tell you how proud and excited I am for you. I wish we could get everybody trained in CPR. We'd give it a shot, but 90,000 folks in Johns Creek's tough. But have a good time, ask good questions. You'll notice there's no tables and chairs. That's because you do CPR on the floor. So we want to train you to do it the way you are actually going to do it. Heaven forbid you have some type of emergency that you witness or at your home. So thanks for coming.
So if we have a cat on the
we are in the
tree
CPR
branch, who do we call?
Have you ever seen a cat skeleton in a tree? They'll come down. We'll come out and give it a whirl, but we're not gonna get ourselves hurt, but we will come help you. You know, we got a parrot out of a tree not long ago, so, you know, we got a call to go get a bird out of the tree was a little bit unusual, but we did it, and the guys went and got the bird for the people, so.
Right, and just so the people know, there was a recent article, the happiest people at work are the firefighters. So if
Yes.
you're planning to become one, any words for
Yes,
the young kids?
you know,
who
this
want-
is the best job there ever was, in my opinion. Where else can you go to work with your best friends every day, help people, help save their lives, save their property, whether if there was a fire, and do positive things in the community. So, you know, this, in my opinion, is the best job in the world. You know, firefighters in the field that work at the fire stations, Sean and I work at fire headquarters, so we work Monday through Friday-ish. Sometimes on the weekends, sometimes after hours, but our friends in the fire stations, they work 24 hours and then they're off for 2 days. So yes, they do sleep there, they cook there, you'll see them at the grocery store. They go to the grocery store, get the groceries, come back and they cook a giant spread of good food 3 times a day. So, you know, they eat, they work out, they train, you know, so it's just a big family atmosphere at the fire station.
I strongly endorse your statement. It's a good, very good job. Because my grandson, who just finished his school graduation this last couple of months in Virginia, he went for a volunteering training at the fire station in Virginia. About now it's 1.5 months that he's going every other day or maybe every day. And he was telling me, I love this place. I love to join the fire department as a job.
Yes.
Now no more volunteer, even as a job. He
Yeah.
said, this is the best place, I love it, I like it. So
Right.
he's learning all those things, your trade, all the trades of the things.
Yeah.
It is, I agree with you, or at least endorse your statement, one of the best job perhaps.
Yes, I think so.
Thank
You're right.
you. Yeah.
Well, thanks you guys.
Huh?
I say I'll join for the food party.
Oh, come on! You know, if you show up at the fire station at dinner time, there's a good chance they're gonna feed you. So,
Oh, wow.
you know, we've got plenty of food around, there's big boys, you know, so.
From the party point of view, they let you use this place for parties,
Yes,
birthday parties.
yes,
You
we-
can have the tour of the fire engine and everything
Yes,
else.
absolutely. We
If you have any
this
kids
is-
wanting birthday parties, this is the place to
Right,
be.
right, and this room here is what we call our community room. We want the citizens to come in, this is a safe place, and everybody can come here, have your meetings, teach your classes. We've had language classes here, all sorts of, just anything. So you can contact the fire department on our website and reserve this room, and we welcome people to do that. You can have birthday parties here, the firefighters show everybody the fire trucks and this
I
and
was there
that.
once.
And our new fire station that we are building will also have a community room. It'll be on the western side of the city, that way we've got 2 community rooms. Community rooms are a good place for the community to do these types of things, but it's also a good opportunity for us to engage the community as well, so,
So
which
when
is
is the new
important.
one coming, Jones?
Kimball Ridge and Jones Bridge Road,
Yeah,
just near
about it.
Webb Bridge Road. There's a Lutheran church on one
Okay,
side and
okay,
there's
okay,
a
right
subdivision
there.
on the other,
Near
yes.
the park.
Yes, exactly.
Across the street.
Right.
It's very right behind your house.
Okay, yeah. I can.
Yeah, we'll try to be
Say hi,
quiet.
but
Very nice.
it is.
All right, well, thanks y'all. I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna go to another event. But, I appreciate you guys coming. Please never hesitate to reach out to us when we do anything for you in the world.
One question.
Sure.
Do you have to be a county resident to avail of these facilities?
You need to, we prefer it to be city residents, you know, to use our community room.
How about neighborly?
No, but I think
Johnston.
Station 6, I believe the new Forsyth station has a community room. They
I don't
don't?
think they built those into their new
Well,
system.
Yeah, they may not have built it. Yeah, no, but if you've got a friend that's in.
Yeah, you have a friend, come on,
Have
that's
them- yeah, have her book the room for you.
Yeah.
Just invite the friend to your party, that's all.
Both my boys, they were conducting debate camp in this room.
Oh, very nice.
Yes,
So we
yeah,
used to reserve 2-3 months ahead.
Right.
That this
Right.
days we will be conducting.
yeah. And
Definitely.
if any of you guys are interested in learning more about the fire department, we will have a Citizens Fire Academy. Starts in February, we start recruiting fall-ish. So if anybody's interested, you know, come see what we do and you get the opportunity to do some of it yourself.
Very
Are
good.
there like any volunteer opportunities for high schoolers or anything?
No, we don't have that. We tried to have, that's called an Explorers Program in the fire service, and we tried to do that a few years ago, and we just didn't have a whole lot of people interested in it. No, this is for adults 18 and over, but it's a good opportunity. You get to ride on a fire truck, you get to go in a burning building. It's not the same heat that we go. It's a lot less heat. This gentleman back here, how are you?
Oh,
Kurt?
hey, how you doing?
Kurt, yes, he was there.
Yeah,
So
we went through that.
Yeah, he knows it. He can tell you all about it, but it's a fun time.
Yeah, Kirk and I did the have done the Johns Creek.
Yes.
Leadership.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The Community Police Academy.
Yeah, and he did the fire academy with us.
Yep, sure did.
Chief, thank you so
Thank
much
you. Have a great
as an
day.
appreciation.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
for taking
you.
the time out and coming.
Oh, you're too
It's a lot
kind.
of us.
Thank you.
so much.
Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks, y'all. Stay safe.
Thank you so much for our instructors. So
Good seeing you, buddy.
So Instructor Mashma is going to take this task over. And if you can instruct us, and thank you for taking the time this evening and agreeing to do this on a weekday. And many of us have come out along with our children, so that just shows you how much they're interested in saving lives and just learning a new skill. So thank you so much.
But you got the road.
Hello, everyone. My name is
Oh, yeah.
Lieutenant Mashmeyer. I'm the EMS coordinator, so I take care of all the medical things in the city of Johns Creek with the fire department. Make sure our guys are trained up. They're all certified in CPR. They're certified, our paramedics in advanced cardiac life support. We are getting very close. We started our paramedic program, oh my goodness, 4 years ago, and I would say we're getting to the tipping point of almost
we got
half our fire department are full-blown paramedics. Chris talked a little bit about this as a career for people. By the time you go through the fire academy, you get your EMT certification and your paramedic certification. It takes almost 2 to 3 years now. A lot of places are giving you an associate degree just for going through paramedic. So I told both my children, my son just graduated high school, and I told him, if you want to be a fireman, I really wish you wouldn't, but go get your degree first. You need to go get your degree. Any of you young ones here think about doing this, go to college, get your degree, then go be a fireman. Trust me, it will pay off in the long run. So years ago, when I first came up here to headquarters, we taught the American Heart Association CPR class. And every time people would walk out of the room after we taught that class, they'd be scratching their head because you watch a video, then you work on a mannequin, then you watch a video, then you work on a mannequin. The person who used to teach community CPR the last couple of years kind of streamlined the whole process for us. And what we're going to learn is how to put your hands on a dead human being and keep their heart pumping until the paramedics get there. What they found over the years and years and years of doing this is, paramedicine and, pre-hospital medicine just really got started in the 70s. And I'm 47 years old, and I was born in 1972, and Georgia really didn't get their pre-hospital stuff going until 1973, believe it or not. So all those years, 46 of them, the chances if you have a sudden cardiac arrest and making it to the hospital are probably 9%, maybe 10%. Those aren't great odds. In Johns Creek, since May of last year, you've probably got a 50% shot of having a pulse when we get you to the hospital. The guys have got some new equipment. I've really been a large advocate in progressing us forward with a lot of the new life-saving devices. We have a CPR machine. We have the latest cardiac monitors. We carry all the cardiac drugs on every fire truck and every rescue in our city. They do a great job. They're very knowledgeable. A lot of them are young, and they are super smart coming out of paramedic school. I've been doing this for 24 years. Chief Coons has been doing it for 25. Some of the fire trucks pull up to your house. You may have 100 years of experience on the fire truck. Never be afraid. I'm going to teach you, when you walk out of here, I want you to be empowered to be able to do something when you leave. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right, we're going to blow through a quick slideshow.
How do you want to see it?
Don't worry, stand here, look pretty for a little bit. We're going to go through a quick slideshow, then we'll jump on these mannequins, and I'll wrap it up showing you how to get somebody to quit choking. Is that fair?
Yeah.
When is CPR necessary? Well, if you have somebody who is laying on the ground and you don't suspect them to be breathing, probably want to start CPR, but the very first thing you want to do is to call 911. Get the professionals coming. We have an average response time of probably 6 minutes in the city of Johns Creek. The reason we need to build a fire station, there's a portion of the city over there that it takes us, we know when there's no traffic, and when is there no traffic in Johns Creek? 2 to 4 a.m. That's your window. If you need to go do something, go between 2 and 4 a.m. Off Taylor Road, Chattahoochee High School area, that is 10 to 12 minutes, guaranteed. So call 911 and get the guys coming. We're going to talk about cardiac arrest versus a heart attack. Cardiac arrest is an electrical problem in the heart. The heart sends the impulse from this side up through here, and it beats. And that's what you see on your little EKG. When that electrical impulse is interrupted, you have cardiac arrest. A heart attack, these two get confused sometimes, is a circulation problem. The young man over here hasn't spent a lifetime eating food that's bad for him and not exercising, and he has a good heart. Those of us like me, who ate a lot of bacon, maybe had a beer or two in his life, I'll be perfectly honest. It kind of builds up that fat and that plaque in your heart, and that can cause you to have a lack of oxygen in part of the heart, and that causes a heart attack. The heart is a muscle. The heart muscle is a pump that runs on electricity that it creates itself. This is a picture of a heart. This talks a little bit about the cholesterol in the arteries. This is an unclogged artery on the top. On the bottom, you can see that plaque has formed, and it severely limits the blood supply. Dirty little secret. If you hurt your muscle in your arm, that muscle will heal. Cardiac muscle does not heal. When it dies, it's dead. So if you ever hear of someone who perhaps has lost 25% of the use of their heart, they probably had a clog. The oxygen was cut down going to it. They lost 25% of their heart muscle. So it's not going to beat as effectively ever again. This slide you got on the left there, you can see a perfectly clear artery, one that's had some plaque build up. I call that the baconator there. Over on the right side, if you look at the picture of the heart, down low you can see a piece that has some dying muscle. Right over here. This little artery coming down on the heart here, that's where your blood is. So when you hear of somebody having to have a bypass, what they do is they'll take a piece of vein out of your leg and they will run it from there to there, bypass the clog, and try to get blood flowing back to that part of the heart again. When they have to run the little, when you hear about someone having a stent placed, they'll go in there and they'll put that little wire mesh in here and stretch that back out for you. Symptoms of heart attack. I know we vary in age greatly here, but there's a difference between boys and girls. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
All right. Men have your classic signs usually. Profuse sweat, lightheadedness, nausea, vomiting, chest pain that moves to the left shoulder, maybe into your jaw. Probably have a little something going on. Women, literally anything can be causing a heart attack. You just never know. And you really, with years of experience, can learn to pick it out. They will have chest pain or pressure. They may have shortness of breath. A big one for them is nausea. I've even had ladies having abdominal pain before. Just did an EKG on them on a whim and found them to be having a heart attack. So women are a little different.
One question, is it okay to
Yeah.
interrupt? So in the previous picture where there was heart, so in these days, like if a person gets all his tests done, maybe the calcium concentration test or EKGs, and there is all the tests gets done, and everything is clean, nothing is wrong, everything is perfect. What are the chances that that person would get heart attack? Are there any chances that in the immediately?
I don't know that they ever give you a percentage on that. Biggest thing I can tell you is if your dad had a heart attack or your grandfather had a heart attack, genetics you cannot outrun. First question we ask, not when did this start. I'll ask them how bad the pain is, can you point to it? Did any of your family ever have a heart attack? If you have somebody that looks at you and says, yeah, my dad had a heart attack when he was 50, come to think of it, so did my grandfather. How old are you? 49. The calcium scores they do and stuff, they do find a lot of stuff. Nothing's guaranteed though. One of my best friends in the whole wide world just turned 60. He runs for the Atlanta Track Club and he was 46. He had chest pain, went to the hospital. They placed 2 stents in his heart. Last summer, he was 58 years old. He runs for the elite runners in the Atlanta Track Club. This guy runs every day. He's the healthiest eater I've ever been around. They have recently taken him off all his medicine, and he ran a 5K downtown Atlanta, crossed the finish line, fell over dead, sudden cardiac arrest, in front of a Grady ambulance. So he should have bought a lottery ticket after he got out of the hospital because he is the luckiest man alive. The medics jumped out of the ambulance, flipped him over, started CPR, shocked his heart, got him back, took him to the hospital. He had 5 bypasses 2 days later.
Oh my God.
He had been given a clean bill of health 2 weeks before this. His father died of a heart attack. His grandfather died of a heart attack, both before they were 60.
When
Genetics.
did this happen?
Huh?
When did this happen?
Last year. Yep. I just got back from the beach a little bit ago with it. Am I having a heart attack? Cold sweat, back pain, jaw pain, shortness of breath, pressure in the chest, nausea, vomiting, pain or discomfort in one or both arms. Usually the heart's moved, it's not dead center of your chest, it's over the left. You usually have the pain in your left shoulder. Sudden cardiac arrest. There's a whole bunch of stuff on here that go with the AHA guidelines. Basically what they're going to say in all this is, we've got to do compression. What we're going to learn here is hands-only CPR. We aren't going to worry about breathing. The hardest thing that you have to do doing CPR when they teach it is learn how to blow in someone's mouth. When you're giving CPR, you're trying to build pressure up in the body. Right now we all have a real good radial pulse. That means that our blood pressure is over 100. Okay? When you go into cardiac arrest, your heart quits beating, you have no pressure. What we're going to do is uninterrupted chest compressions on these people. That builds your pressure up, and what they've found is the more pressure we built up, when we apply an AED or our electrodes to shock somebody, is that we can get that heart to reset and start beating normally. This is what's happening in Johns Creek because we get out and we teach when we start our hands on. In a child, we're only going to use one hand. These mannequins are representative of an adult and a child, and they aren't near as big as me. So I'll show you where to put your one hand for a child, and we'll talk about what is an adult, what is a child, and what is an infant. And I'll show you on our little babies here exactly how we want to do that. So this kind of shows you what we're trying to do. We're going to push on the chest. We're going to circulate blood. Inside your body, you have quite a bit of blood. When you're breathing, you're exchanging carbon dioxide for oxygen in the lungs. What we found is, when you exhale, are we blowing out oxygen?
Carbon dioxide.
Very good. We are. So why are we blowing carbon dioxide into people? Your body's got a lot of blood. If you're doing good CPR, you're circulating that blood, that oxygenated blood, through the body, and people are gonna have a lot better chance of not having brain damage. Lucas CPR, this is our CPR machine. 3 years ago, we purchased these for $15,000 a piece, and they are the perfect CPR weapon, I call it. If you ever see one operate, it's gonna look like you're gonna probably not be pleased. They are very arcane, they're rough. When I first saw these and was introduced to them at a conference, I thought, this makes the most sense of anything I've ever seen. A Swedish doctor invented this to put on people who are organ donors in Sweden and keep their body viable until the harvest team could get there. A company in the United States by the name of Physio, now owned by Stryker, went to Sweden and bought this technology, brought it back, got it cleared through the FDA to be used. When most people don't go into cardiac arrest laying right out here on the sidewalk by the street where we can easily pick you up, put you in the ambulance, and take you to the hospital. They live in a 3-story house, and they go into cardiac arrest sitting on the toilet in the back bedroom. So we've got to get you down 2 flights of stairs and out of that room. When we show up, we'll get you out of the bathroom, take you into the bedroom. We'll start CPR. We'll put a tube down your throat. We'll start breathing for you. We'll put an IV in your arm, or maybe drill a bone marrow needle into your leg so we can get drugs to you. Or get drugs and fluids in you and circulate those drugs. If you're in a form of cardiac arrest, we will shock the heart. But the main thing is, we need to be doing CPR while all this is happening. Well, here's the dirty truth. It wasn't happening all the time. We get there and we have to flip you over. You want to be on the hard surface to do CPR. We show up to many nursing homes. They're doing CPR on people in their bed. It's like bouncing a ball. The bed's moving, the body isn't. Get them on the floor. We have to put you on a backboard so we can move you. We have that tube down your throat, so we put a C-collar on you like people who are in a car wreck to hold that tube in place. We get the patient secured. All the time we're doing this, we have to stop CPR periodically. We have to carry you down 2 flights of stairs. Do you think we can do CPR while we carry you down 2 flights of stairs? No. In 10 seconds, all that pressure we built up in your body is almost gone. That's not good. Then we get you in the ambulance and bounce down the road, holding on with one hand and trying to do CPR with another. Dangerous and not effective. We probably had a 15% pulse rate at the hospital. Bring in these machines, we put it on you, it straps your neck to it and your arms to it like this. Holds the IV open. We can sit you up with this machine on you, and it still does CPR. It never stops. You'll see the Energizer Bunny commercials where he hits the drum.
Yeah.
That's this thing. It doesn't quit. We've had tremendous success with it. We have one at each fire station right now.
So when do you know when to stop this procedure?
If they open their eyes and tell you to quit, quit. You'll notice that I haven't talked a lot about checking for a pulse. A pulse is very hard to look at. Sometimes we will pause that machine, look at our cardiac monitor. If we see a rhythm on there that looks like they should have a pulse, we'll check a pulse. If we feel a pulse, we'll do a blood pressure. If there's no blood pressure, we start CPR again. If there is blood pressure, we stop CPR, reevaluate the patient, and see if they're breathing or we keep breathing for them. Cardiac arrest and trauma. So this is a picture of a pipe that's leaking. When you get into a car wreck, it's not always the force of hitting the other car that causes problems. A lot of times you see a car spin, that's torsional force, and a lot of times things tear. You can get a tear like that from trauma. Cardiac arrest in the presence of trauma usually does not end well, just because there's so many things going on. This is ventricular fibrillation. This is one of the heart rhythms you might have when you go into cardiac arrest. This is coincidentally one of the things that the AED will pick up. Everybody has in front of their mannequin a little AED trainer. This is one much like you will find in the city of Johns Creek. All the police cars have them. All the fire department vehicles have at least an AED. Most of the big fire trucks have a $45,000 cardiac monitor on them. We have them in City Hall. We have them everywhere in Johns Creek. A lot of times you'll see the police get there and they'll put an AED on before we get there. We've trained all them in CPR. AED pad placement, we will talk more about this and physically do it. On adults, very simple, here and here. What's between those two places? Your heart. Very easy. A child, a smaller child, or an infant, you'll put it on the front and on the back. Some of these pads are adult, some are infant. Chances of survival. We're going to tell you all that we have about a 6-minute response time anywhere in the city, average. If you live right around the corner here in Shake Rag, it ain't going to take us long to get there. If you live over in Seven Oaks, that sound right? That's why we need to build a fire station. It's going to take us a minute. If you live by Chattahoochee High School, it's going to take a minute. Chances of survival for cardiac arrest. This is without CPR or defibrillation. 1 minute, 90, 80, 70, 60, and so on. What do you all think the number is at 10 minutes? 0. We might be able to get your heart started, but you're probably going to be brain dead at that point because your brain has gone without oxygen for so long. Some of the accessories you might find in an AED, some gloves, a biohazard bag, a little mouth mask, some trauma shears, and a razor. Ladies usually wear a bra. Inside those bras are wires. Wires and electricity do not mix. We usually try to do our best to keep things as confidential as possible. We'll throw a blanket over somebody, but we always have to bare the chest to get the things hooked up right and get them in the right spot. A razor. Everybody has a friend who is the hairy guy, like a bear. One of my friends, if he takes his shirt off and gets in the swimming pool, kids run. He is like a big grizzly bear. People like that, you've got to use a razor on. And make sure that pad and the gel contact the skin. My very first day as a paramedic, a gentleman went into cardiac arrest. This might date me, I told you all how old I am. We didn't have these pads and stuff, we had the old paddles that you held in your hand. I put it on him, I charged it, I shocked him, and electricity went across his chest. He was a hairy, hairy man. The electricity went across his chest and burnt every hair in a strip about that wide, all the way across his chest. Now they're choking. So what we want to do is everybody make a fist, but put your thumb over the top, just like this. See how you got your thumb up, thumb down, like that. That makes a very rigid, hard surface, right there, right? I am going to not just walk up. He's choking. I'm not going to come up behind him and jump him. He's going to fight. If you're choking, anybody who's ever choked, you kind of get the fight or flight syndrome. So if you see somebody choking, don't come catting up behind them. You do that to me, I'm coming around like that, okay? Always approach them from the front. Sir, are you choking? Stupid question, but ask it. I'm going to help you, okay? Tell them what you're doing. I'm going to get around behind you. So I'm going to get around behind him. I've made my little rigid spot here. I'm going to get, think about it, just above the belly button. I'm going to get in there about like this, put my hand over it, and when I do this, I usually get my leg in between theirs. And when I do this, I'm going to go in and up, and I'll show you. If he would pass out, I can control him now. And I can gently get him to the ground without him banging his head. Thank you. So, when you do this, you're around there, don't tell them you're going to do it. Surprise them. They already know you're going to help them. Now we get to surprise them. Because if you can surprise them, that chicken bone is going to come out. You're going to go in and up, in and up, in and up, in and up. Just like that. Promise you, if you surprise them and do it right the first time, whatever's in's going to go out. My record for distance is 10 feet. Happened on Valentine's Day 5 years ago at our friend's house. He choked. I figured out he was really choking. I went around there and said, okay, I'm going to do this. I got around behind him, and before he knew what happened, I hit him Landed in my chair on the other side of the dining room table, 10 feet. Awesome. If they go unconscious, you saw how I was holding him. Try to ease him to the ground. Don't let his head bounce. What are we going to do? Call 911 and do CPR. If you're doing CPR and stuff comes out, we talked about this. Never, ever, ever, never stick your finger in someone's mouth. You will lose your finger. I liken it to trying to take a piece of food from an alligator. Don't do it. Roll them over on their side. Okay? See if you can kind of get them to work out what's in there that way. Never, ever, ever, never stick your finger in someone's mouth. You may, if we go on the cardiac arrest, someone has dentures in, you may see our guys take dentures out. I can do that without sticking my finger between their teeth. But never, ever, ever, never stick your finger in someone's mouth. You might pull back a missing digit. I told you all along, we don't want anything extra, right? We already got a dead person. We don't need to be missing a finger, okay? Throw that baby. Babies, if they're choking, we don't want to just pick them up, hold them like this. I have a vivid memory of choking on the lifesaver and my father holding me upside down and shaking me. It is a vivid childhood memory. Lifesaver came out. Can't do that. Especially with a little one, their head's floppy, right? So with a baby, what we're going to do, hey look, see that? Baby's laying on my arm. I can control the baby. I'm going to put it on my leg. So I have a hard surface. I'm going to give 5 back blows. Make sure your fingers are like this. Control the head. Make sure their mouth's open so when whatever's in decides to come out, it can. After I give 5 back blows, I'm going to make a baby sandwich. Turn the baby over, put them on this leg, and do 5 chest compressions. Flip them over. Always keep them pointing downhill and put them on your leg. That way we let gravity put them on your leg, point them downhill. Might have to bend over a little. Got gravity working for us. Back blows, 5, flip them over, 5 compressions. Okay? Very easy. Works like a champ. Yep. Palm of your hand.